What's shaking, Chewie Nation, and welcome back to another Madden 22 video. Today we're talking solo battles, the most requested video I think, so that's what I'm doing. I wanted to wait till the rewards came out, but EA just announced that they are going to be delayed, so much for that. We did get second place, which I would show you in the top 100, but it's already switched over, so I can't even do that. But we did get second, as you can see in the corner there. If I go to top 100, it says no data available. I'm not even on ChewbaccaLemma account, so I guess that's okay. But anyway, we got second place. We were a full 6,000 ahead of 10th, so we were comfortably in second. First place was comfortably ahead of us, so I'm happy with that. So I feel like since I did decently well, I think second place is solid. That I could share my knowledge. And we'll see. This is on next gen, so keep that in mind. But I do talk about current gen in this video as well. Current gen is going to be a lot easier. It's easy to get interceptions, and overall, yeah, because of that, it's going to be easier. But most of this is focused around defense on next gen because that's where the challenge is. If you are thinking this is too sweaty for you, you can just go after legend rewards. Me personally, I don't really think that's really much there. But you could go after that. They do count for Cam Chancellor wins, so you could do that just for those. But you just got to play on Legend difficulty for most of your games, and you can get Legend. So as long as you win, you should get that. If you want to go for top 100, yeah, you're going to have to treat it like every game is like a weekendly game. It's going to be sweaty, and you may not like that. And without further ado, let's discuss timestamps down below. We have thresholds, we have offense, we have defense first, we have offense. And before we do that, let's go ahead and just tell you real quick, because I do mention this in the video, but like I said, super sweaty. So I'm going to start off with a tip that before we even talk about thresholds. When you are playing on offense, go out of bounds. Usually you want to go out of bounds. No huddle if you can't get out of bounds. But when you go out of bounds, if you are not within the last 2 minutes of the second quarter or in the fourth quarter, you should always wait till the play clock hits 20 seconds. If not, it will chew down to 20 because the clock does not permanently stop until the next hike. Just a heads up there. Wait till 20 seconds left on the play clock if you're not within the last 2 minutes of the second quarter or in the fourth. And because of that, in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter and in the fourth quarter, you should be really focusing on first downs. And that is one of the most important thresholds. You need to be making sure you get first downs. I would say preferably like 30 plus, 35. It's going to be a lot easier on current gen. But same as last year, you want as many as possible. I really was like 20-ish this whole week. So it's not like I did amazing on first downs and I got second. So try to get as many as possible. I like to go for them more so even in the fourth quarter. I'll get some in the second, like in that last 2 minutes. I'll go out of bounds, like instead of scoring, I'll go out the one and get a first down easy because the clock stops completely. You don't have to worry about until you hike it in the last 2 minutes of the second. So I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but it's so important because every second is so crucial. But those first downs, try to rack those up, especially in the fourth quarter. If you can get on offense, that's great because you're going to be able to get a lot of first downs there. So that is my number one tip, and that was the first threshold as well. Now, rest of it. 200 rushing, 400 passing. We're going to show that in the offensive video part of the video. First downs I already mentioned. Couple rushing touchdowns, 2 to 3. Passing touchdowns, 4 to 5. I've never tested if you needed to do so many. That's how I break it up, and it seems to be working out pretty well. 50 points scored or more, doesn't matter, 50. And that's pretty much offense. That's what you need on offense. It's easier said than done. But I really focus early on just getting the yards and the points. I don't focus on first downs that much. I just try to score as much as possible, get the ball back, score. If you can get a few first downs in there, that's great, especially in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. But ideally, I want to have at least, I go for 2, at least once. You only really need to go once because if you score 7 touchdowns, that will give you 50 points. But if you want to go for 2 every time, that's fine. But you go for 2. Let's say you have 29 points at the end of the first quarter or the first half. I'm pretty happy with that. You get the ball in the second half, scoring 21 in the second half. That's pretty good. If you only score, say, 22 in the first half, you can definitely score 28 in the second. But I try to get, that's kind of always, if I have 29 in the first half, I'm pretty happy. Or 32 if you get all the twos. I just usually get 1, 2 because I'm pretty comfortable always getting 50. All right, now, so you get that. That's kind of at least what I want to go after. So that 50 points is important. Now on defense, what you really want to focus on is yards allowed, and you want to have as few as possible. So interceptions are nice, a little bit really easy on current gen, kind of hard on next gen, and then sacks pretty easy on both gens, and then just yards allowed. Try to get as few as possible. Points allowed don't matter, just always onside kick. You don't really have to worry about that, but really focus on those yards. If you give up a touchdown, like even a 40-yard touchdown, they cheat you. You could definitely get some sacks and get them back, even into the negative if you get a decent amount of sacks. So it does stink. For sure, it will make you feel down, but you're not out. So the CPU will cheat you sometimes. It will happen. If you want to get top 10, first, you want to get top 100, those things will happen maybe once or twice, but you just gotta hang in there. Okay, so that's what you want. Defense touchdowns, nice. Special teams like kick return, punt return touchdowns, nice. Those are nice. I didn't get any of those. I think again, current gen is way easier for the defensive touchdown for sure. So again, if you can get it, great. Early on, those are kind of hard. So if you can get the punt return, kick return touchdowns, and the defense touchdown, props to you. It's a little bit harder early on. I didn't get any of them starting this. So yeah, we got the second place, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's the thresholds I go after. I'll probably leave a comment down below in case I missed anything, but that's pretty much it. We're going to show the defense down below, and we'll also show the offense. If you have any questions throughout any of this video, definitely leave those down below, and I will answer those to the best of my ability. And without further ado, let's just again showcase this real quick. Second place right there. Boom. Second place. Not too shabby. Let's go ahead and get into the defense. All right, we're in a challenge here. We're on the weekend here. We've already done our solo battles. I probably at the intro showed that's probably post, so I recorded that on Monday and then this, so I can show that I actually finished in top 10. But as of now, I think I'm like second or third. So I'm doing pretty well, and I'll be top 10. I can go ahead and say that even though this is the weekend. Okay, so but I want to make sure you believe it that I actually got it. All right, so if you're on current gen, you're going to notice the scores on next gen are much lower. The average, the first place person, I think averaged like 25.6 maybe. I averaged like 25.3 maybe. So yeah, they beat me pretty well. But still, I still was one of the highest scoring and easily top 10 in solo battles. So I kind of know what I'm doing. If you're on current gen though, the scores are higher. The thresholds, everything is still going to be the same, except defense is going to be way, way, way easier, and that's why the scores are way higher. I say that if you are on current gen, I will show that right out the beginning, because we're actually going to use the same defense for much of this, and then we're going to actually show some other defenses as well that I really like. But we're going to come out and punt block 4-4 even and special teams, and if you're on current gen, all you do is once they audible to verticals, you're going to hit square or X on Xbox and audible over to punt safe man, and you're going to user this guy and then go inside, and then they're just going to throw it up, and you can get an easy interception. They would have thrown that on current gen, and you can get a pick. Now, it does say take some practice, so keep that in mind, but yeah, you just do punt block 4-4 even. If you haven't played in the previous years, it's the same as it's been in previous years. So I get an interception every single time. We'll take some practice, and this only works in the first 3 quarters, and it doesn't work when they're in no huddle. So again, you audible over, and then you just kind of swoop inside, and then yep, they'll throw it, and then you go back outside, and you get it. Now you notice here, you probably have noticed that this doesn't look that bad even on next gen. You're not getting those interceptions, but we did just get a sack. So this is competitive. So this is decently similar to what you will face in solo battles. Though I do know the solo battle, the CPU cheats tend to be a little bit more. But if you are on next gen, there's a couple things. You can user this return man and get a pretty quick rush. We're not going to be able to get there in time. You're never going to have the CPU this far back, like ever. That's exactly what I wanted, though. That's what they do. They just throw it up. So you can still get those interceptions quite a lot and get some easy sacks. It's still a really good defense. It's just not like it was or is on current gen. So I'm going to show this again. Same thing, and we're going to show another setup too that I think I like a little bit more. I tried some both, and I think I had more success So again, I don't audible here. They're going to go to 4 verticals, and I'm just going to come off the edge here, and you have to make sure you keep moving with your guy or you will get frozen. If you've practiced this, you know exactly what I mean, or I could even show you. If you're not moving at the snap, you can't move after. So you just have to make sure your guy is continuing to move. If I just stop moving right now and they hike it, my guy will be frozen still. And then you might give up a big play. So that is important. As you see, I'm way too far back, so I'm not able to get there, which is fine. Somehow my man coverage didn't pick that up. Okay, that's fine. That actually makes it easier to showcase this because now they're on the 45. You're always going to be onside kicking, so because points allowed don't matter. You don't only care about the yards. You want to get those sacks and interceptions. So you really don't want to be kicking it deep. So again, we go 8 up safe man. And we can use our Hester now a lot easier. You see, we're a lot closer, so we'll easily be able to make it in time, and we can rush him, and we should be able to get a sack pretty quickly here. You just got to make sure you keep moving, which we did, and a sack. So that's good, right? That's solid. Oh, that might have been deep attack. They either were verticals almost every time. I think there's also, depending on the playbook, oh yeah, I had to get 2 sacks in this one. Depending on the playbook, deep attack, but you're still going to be able to get there. It's only one post route that could be a problem, but if you have decent players, it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so let's say you don't want to use our Hester. Well, I should probably tell you that this guy on the outside is always going to be user. Don't really pay attention. This guy here will always. You really just have to. Yeah, okay. I'm like trying to talk, but I knew they were going to hike it. Okay, nice. That's exactly what I wanted. Not a pick, but the guys you can just practice this, but don't look at the play art. Is what I'm saying. The play art is all messed up. You just kind of focus who should cover them. The 5 guys in coverage, okay, this guy is going to be on that guy right in front of him. This guy is going to be on the guy on the right side. This guy is going to be the running back. The guy on the outside there is going to cover the slot receiver. It's exactly who you would think. The guy who's closest is going to cover him. And what you notice is they throw it all the time. So getting interceptions is not 100% on next gen, but it's still quite frequent. So you can still get the ball back quite easy. I don't really give up any. I mean, I feel like my defense plays really well. You do want to make sure, like I have some slower guys I've already subbed out. Just make sure you get your fastest guys on there, especially on the outside. Make sure the outside corners, because those are the guys who are going to get your interceptions. So this guy's going to be the slot guy. This guy's going to be the running back. So I'm going to user him, and I'm going to try to swoop in, and they just threw it up again. What a ding-dong. And that's what will happen in solo battles. Again, it just takes some practice. Figure out who's covering who, but it's really good, I think. That's what I like the best. Now, let's say you're in the 4th quarter, or they're no huddling or whatever, and you can't do that. Last 10 seconds of the quarter as well. There's some very small situations where it doesn't work, especially in the 4th quarter. I like to run double A gap, so make sure you have this. A lot of times people will run mid blitz, but if there's nobody on the edge, like a tight end or anything, this time they ran like a wide receiver screen or whatever, you will a lot of times not even get blocked. I'm not saying this is the perfect defense. This is just what I personally run. So cover 2, cover 3, whatever you like. But yeah, if there's no tight end or anything, you can actually a lot of times just blow right by the right tackle. And you see the running back got me. That's why they chipped me. But then he goes out. And you can get so many sacks. Some games I'll get like 5 sacks with Von Miller, depending on if I have to give him the ball back, like in the 4th quarter. But this time the tight end's over there. It's only on the right side. Maybe if I flip my play, I haven't really messed around with it. But yeah, you can, and I have the Von Miller off of the auction house, just the 89, not powered up or anything. But he has that, edge thread already in there. And you see, we got a couple sacks just like that. So nickel 2-4-5 double A gap. It's in a lot of playbooks. A lot of times in previous years, I would always say run mid blitz. But what I've noticed with mid blitz, bring these guys down, even like shading inside, doing all kinds of stuff, it just doesn't do it for me. That's annoying. But the running back route, if they're on something like that, the not really post. It's really just slants that really get you. And maybe there's different ways to run this, and maybe you'll have more success with it. I personally just like to run. I think especially in solo battles when the difficulty is amped up to like 11 for whatever reason. I personally don't like to run man coverage. Again, this is just personal preference. If you feel like your team can do it, remember the cheat in CPU though, they cheat. So it's not bad. This isn't really a great showcase because I do think this is where the fact that the CPU's not cheating like they do in solo battles is in full display here, because they'll always run the plays that beat your man coverage. So I personally had way more success just running like cover two. You won't get a whole lot of interceptions with this. Again, ignore the play art. That's all kinds of messed up. It says your deep half isn't there. Don't pay attention to that. It's just a bug. And there they threw it underneath and got it. And that will happen. So I don't love it. But this is like fourth quarter. This is very situational. Ideally, you get all of your threshold stuff done in the first 3 quarters, and then you just run the clock out in the fourth. I know that's a big if, but you may only have to give them like one possession where you actually have to run a base defense. So this is just where, you know, it's personal preference. I like the 2-4-5 just coming off the edge. Sometimes I don't even get blocked. So if you've ever faced 2-4-5, like the mid blitz stuff, you'll notice that even if they don't send anybody, that guy on the edge just comes in free if you don't do any adjustments. So it's really wild that the right tackle just doesn't. It was like that last year too. He's completely unaware to the fact the guy's just coming off the edge. So that's what I like to run. That's what I had the most success running overall. But you can mess around with other, if you have good 4-man heat or even 5-man heat. I personally still think zone coverage is better because the CPU will cheat you sometimes. You don't want to give up those massive plays, like 40, 50-yard plays. So that's why I like it. But that's my defense. If you have any questions on that, leave those down below. I'll answer all of them. I'm not going to hide anything. That's what I ran. But let's go ahead and switch over to the offensive side. All right, before we get started, I've already kind of started, but then I'm like, I should probably mention this. Okay, so on offense, I'm in Miami Dolphins playbook, and I have Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. I will tell you, I sold Justin Fields. I would prefer to have Justin Fields. I just sold him because I sold him for like close to 50K, and I love that price, and I'm like, I can buy him back. Fastest quarterback you can get for solo battles. Like the fastest one you can get. The accuracy is not going to matter that much. I guess if you want, you know, maybe some one-play touchdowns or something, if you need passing, you could always sub in your other quarterback too. But you want the fastest quarterback because that will be your main mode of rushing yards. At least for me, that's what I do. So I'm going to come out in levels. Trips, tight end, flex is this. I think there's other formations. Well, there's a lot of other formations that have levels. But for me, I'm just going to run trips, tight end, flex. So level, sail. The reason I like this is, in this case, I think we do have a one-play touchdown. You can just streak this slot guy. And if they're in this cover 3 look, you have a one-play touchdown every time. If you have speed, I actually didn't get a one-play touchdown. But you can get a one-play touchdown pretty much every time. I also have Deshaun Jackson there. That could be Hester. That could be faster guys as well. I mean, he's pretty fast. I also could have pass-led that a little bit better. But that's why I really like it, because you can throw this streak if they are in that cover 3 look for a one-play touchdown every time. And even if they're in this, if you have a really fast guy, you can outside lead it. In that case, I got hit as I throw it. I am okay with throwing that pick. You do not want to do that in solo battles, though. But if you notice, that was some like cover 9, cover something. They were coming. They were some match coverage. They were coming across the field, so you can actually throw that on the outside as well if you need to score quickly. But yeah, you can. If you're not sure, you can just always streak him, because I don't usually throw it to him anyway. And then if they're in this look, you can maybe outside lead it. Of course, the CPU is much better in solo battles than it is even in here, and they're getting a lot of pressure. So you got to make sure you watch out for that. Okay, this is the play. This is what I want to talk about. So I'm actually going to pause it. Okay, this is when Justin Fields or Daniel Jones, the fastest quarterback you can have, you want him here. I can clearly see that they are in man coverage. If you see, they're lined over top of my receivers. This is clearly man coverage. What I want to do, I want to get my rushing yards here. I'm going to double team that outside guy. That's what I like to do. And I'm going to try to get to the outside and then run. You can get 30, 40 yards rushing. This is a great way to get your rushing yards. So I can see they're in man, and look, there's just no one here because you know they're in man. Unfortunately, I'm Patrick Mahomes, so look how slow this is going. But I still got 26 yards there. I personally, that's what I like. You get the first down, so you need to get those first downs. You get the rushing yards. I have like 5 rushes for close to 200 yards with Justin Fields a lot of times, because I don't go after rushing. I let the CPU tell me when to rush. So that's my opinion there. Again, they're in this cover 3 look, so this is a one-play touchdown. That's why I like this. So we go ahead and we have Hester there as well, so this is an easy touchdown. I'm not saying this is, you might want to get those first downs and methodically go down the field. But early on, I really like to stockpile the yards and the touchdowns, the points, and all that because I want to make sure I get all that. So, and early on, I'll take that every time. Later on in the game, I'm not going to take that because I need first downs or whatever if I've already gotten it. So, yeah, I like that. Okay, so are they in man coverage here? Is this yeah? So they're in man again. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the outside. I wasn't. They had a spy anyway. But anytime they have a that's fine. If you have Justin Fields, you can probably outrun the spy anyway. But anytime they're in man coverage, I'll take that. Also, if they're in match coverage, it's even better because if they're in match coverage, everybody goes to the side, including the safety. In this case, this guy didn't have anybody to match up to. Don't fumble. Try not to do that. But that time, cover 4 quarters. If they're in a lot of cover 6s, cover 9s, even these, if they all match over, you might be able to run for 60 yards if you have a fast quarterback. That is just by just keep watching, just keep paying attention to what they're running. And okay, are they in match? Are they in, just trying to read coverages? They're in, I think maybe I'm running it too much. They're putting spies out there. Could just be unlucky. But if you have Justin Fields there, no, that's just a default spy, so I don't think that's because I'm running it too much. But if you have Justin Fields there, a lot of times, especially in solo battles, there are going to be like 70 overall teams early on. Your quarterback's going to be, high 80s speed maybe, or mid 80s. So you can just outrun that linebacker who's going to have like a really low speed. Again, here's a cover 3 look. When that guy's pressed and then they're backed off like that, that's how I notice this is clearly going to be a touchdown. We got Deshaun, pass lead a little bit to the left, and it's a one-play. Just kidding. Terrible rack animation. I always like to run my trips to the wide side. Again, that's just personal preference. Looks like they're in man coverage here. They're lined up right over my guys. So I'll go ahead and... Nope, they're in... so they have a spy there. You can always get your first down, no huddle. Go out of bounds if you can. Keep going. And then, if you're... As they're no huddling. And then you could always throw the running back, of course, and cheat me. Okay. This is, though, what I said, why I don't like this offense. So it looks like they're in that cover 3 look again. I'm not going to throw it to the slot guy, though I could. Is I feel like when I throw it to the running back, a lot of times I can't pick up that first down. In previous years, I've always felt like I can throw this, hit my running back, and then go out of bounds, and I'll be happy with that. This year, I feel like I can't do it as well. And maybe I'm just not throwing it at the perfect time. But yeah, I just feel like it's not as good. Again, that could be wrong. This isn't even going to be a touchdown. But yeah, I just don't like it as much. So this is what I did to get, second, third place, whatever I end up at. And it's fine, but I don't personally love it. It's pretty easy to, make completions and move down the field, obviously. But I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet. So if you have something that you like a little bit better, the underneath stuff, okay, this is another one-play touchdown. I could throw this to Deshaun. I'm not going to do it, but it would be a touchdown. You could also always, when they're in this, you could always throw it over to your tight end. Not that. I threw it a little too early. I could obviously have thrown it underneath as well. I would never do that because I know I can just throw it up to Deshaun. They're playing the same exact coverage. I can always do this. But you can fit that in there we go. I finally got the good rack. And you can always run it in. A lot of times I'll go out at the 1 just to get an extra first down. Again, you got to get those first downs. Go at the 1. One thing I didn't mention, and this is a good way to, I think, end it. And I'll go over all the thresholds again here at the end. But there's only 30 seconds, so I don't have to wait as long. But you want to make sure you wait until 20 seconds so there's no runoff. If you snap it before, it runs it down to 20. So again, just save time. This is super serious, all right? It's super sweaty. So yeah, now we can go ahead and do it. No runoff. You see no runoff. And then you can run it in if you want, pass it in. We can just go inside zone. This should be an easy touchdown. Don't cheat me. All right, touchdown. And you get a rushing touchdown there. A lot of times I like the rushing touchdowns that close. But yeah, that's how I do it. I like getting my rushing as they give it to me. Obviously, if they never run man or match or anything and you're just like stuck, you kind of at some point have to force it. But this is what, I like to do. Again, maybe this case I'm too slow, so I can't even outrun this big. You can always do something like that and, get 10 yards, even if they're not in match or anything. You could just, if you have a faster quarterback, that's why I said 10 yards. But yeah, if you're like, okay, well, I can't even get outside. But yeah, if you have a faster quarterback there, you can easily get to the outside. They're in match here, so this would be a time where I wish I had a faster quarterback. No, Mahomes! And maybe we can even pick up a first down there. And sometimes they'll all be, cover four palms. They're all going to go to one side. And then even the safeties and everybody, they're all going to be on one side. So it's going to be, maybe even be 50, 60 yards. I mean, you could run for a touchdown maybe. Why do they keep putting I don't know why they keep putting a spy on the field. I'm not a fan. Why are they running cover two? I feel like they're on to me. Which if you do run it enough with your quarterback, they will put spies on the field. So again, I know they're in man coverage here. Move everybody to one side. And if you can there we go. That's exactly what I wanted. And now, I mean, even with Patrick Mahomes, who's not the fastest guy, we're going to be running for a while here. 33 yards. If that's Justin Fields, it's 40 plus. So that's what I do. Again, and you get out of bounds. You get a first down. You get all that rushing, and getting 200 yards when you only have to run 5 times, maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe it's doable then. And all the other times when you're passing, a lot of times will be one play touchdown. So, or just throwing it to the running back or the tight end on the corner. I like that too, to get some good chunk plays and get out of bounds. First downs are really important. So that's my thought. Again, thresholds, okay? Just reminding, as I would have said this in the intro, I know, but thresholds on offense. 200 rushing, 400 passing. That's what I go for. My highest score, I didn't even have 200 rushing, though. So maybe you can go a little less, but that's what I go for. 20 to 30 first downs. More first downs, the better, but it might be really hard to get it if you're not getting turnovers and stuff. So I think even about 20 should be solid. Get as many as you can. Points, make sure you score 50. 50, 50, 50. After that, it doesn't matter. I know that seems crazy hard, and especially you might only have a touchdown at the end of the quarter. Sometimes it could even be worse, but you can rack up those points a lot of times in the second quarter, because when you go out of bounds, the clock stops inside 2 minutes. So you can just keep going out of bounds, stack up those first downs, get some points, onside kick because it's inside 2. If you're not even running, if you don't feel comfortable with the punt defense, you can actually just run stock defense. They're still going to be passing every play because they're close, so they're not going to be running. So again, just always make sure you're onside kicking. Get those first downs, get those couple rushing touchdowns, a handful of passing touchdowns, get to 50 points. And then, if you can get a defense touchdown, great. If you can get some special teams touchdowns, return touchdowns, great. That's going to be a lot harder early on, but all those things can add a little bit of extra to separate you if you can, if it's like last year. Again, it's early on, so we don't know if they tweak the formula at all, but this is what I did. I didn't have any special teams touchdowns or defense touchdowns. It still finished in the top 10, so I would say not necessary early on, but if you're on current gen, it might be more necessary because those guys are super sweaty. Current gen, next gen, we haven't quite got to that point yet as I'm recording this. But hopefully this was helpful. If it was, a like would be appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if there's any questions at all on anything on offense, anything on defense, I'm not saying what I have done is 100% going to be the meta in a month or two, but I am saying that it's good enough to the first week to get me comfortably in the top 10, and I think that's saying something. So thank you so much. You guys are incredible. That's all I got. ChewbaccaLemma out. Peace.